Okay guys, so welcome. What we're going to do today is going to run through the katas. We're going to identify a few areas within each kata to focus on to ensure that you guys are getting the most from that practice you're doing at home. So Kion Kata is the first one we're going to look at, and there are going to be three elements that I want you to focus on whilst practicing at home. The first one is Zen Kutsudachi, our stance in this kata. This stance should be 1 shoulder width in width, 2 shoulder widths in length, and we should feel quite centered here. That's all I want you to do. If you're going to practice transitioning with this stance, please make sure that your back foot comes up and they pass each other as you step through. And if you're doing any big turns in this kata as well, ensure that those feet come together before transitioning to the next stance. The second thing you're going to focus on is your Gidan Bro, your downward block. So you're going to have one hand out, other hand in chamber. As you do this, your Hikite hand comes up. Your elbow goes onto your elbow. Your hand goes onto your shoulder. You draw a line down your arm and you ensure you have that snap at the end. The third and final thing on this kata is your Chudanzuki, your stomach level punch. You can practice this in Zen Kutsudachi. And as you step through, make sure higher grades you're looking at your timing element. So you're coming through, you punch, and you land at the same time. Well, there you go. That's what I want you to focus on Kion Kata. Let's have a look at Kion Kata in its entirety. Okay, so hopefully you would have done Kion Kata. The next one is Heian Shodan. So in Heian Shodan, it's very similar in terms of the eye formation on the floor, but there are a couple of differences that I will highlight now. The first one is here. As you come around for our Tetsuri here, don't think about kicking your leg or stamping on the floor. It's simply lifting that leg up and bringing it back down again, placing where it came from. The second thing you're going to focus on in this kata is going to be your agyukes. As you're coming forward here, this first hand comes up. You open your hand, you close it, ensuring your fingers stay together, and you're stepping through that agyuke, and you repeat that throughout the sequence. The final bit, and probably the hardest part of this whole kata, is the last 4 moves, and it's going to be your kokutsudachi, your back leaning stance here. I'll show you the transition. As you step and you're turning in this kata, most of my weight's on my front leg here, and as you transition round, try not to move this leg. Keep it fixed in that position. That way you know when you turned, you're going to be in a really good back leaning stance. So there's your 3 things. Now let's have a look at Heian Shodan as an entirety. Practice at home. Good luck. Okay, so Heian Nidan. Heian Nidan is going to be your third kata. And with this one, we've just looked at back leaning stance, okay, and make sure these first 4 moves are going to be really well placed. You do not want to have a poor start. I know last time we spoke, or we were watching people in the room, we were having a tendency to move the wrong leg at the start here. Make sure it's this left leg that steps out into this Katas to start. So a couple of things to focus on here then. Once again, refocusing on that back leaning stance. This is the key thing for this kata. The other section to this, which is often quite difficult, is when you've come from the Katas, you step across, doing an uchuke on a gakuzuki, so an inside block on the reverse side, okay, and then we've got this kick, punch, block sequence. And it'd be really good if you guys can practice that over and over and get really confident with that. Make sure if you're a higher grade, you're looking at your belt. Make sure on the block, you're trying to pull this off. On the gakuzuki, you're trying to pull those hips forward, okay? So it might look a little bit like this when you're practicing at home. Start from your uchuke position, hips facing forward, maigeri, gakuzuki, uchuke, maigeri, gakuzuki, okay? And repeat. Let's have a look at Heian Nidan. So let's have a look at Gekisado Ich. Gekisado Ich is going to be our first kata, which is going to be quite complex with our feet. Okay, we're going to be looking at this Sanshin Dachi and Hanzen Kutsudachi. There's not a huge difference with these stances, and you need to make sure you know where one happens and where the other happens. A really good way of practicing this would be in our Sandangi. Our Sandangis are 3 punch moves and 3 block moves that we practice. I'll run through it, and as I do it, I'll explain the feet. When we do a punching technique, it's best for us to be in this Hanzen Kutsudachi, both feet facing forward. When we do our blocking techniques, it's better for our feet to be in a Sanshin Dachi, where our front foot's facing in and our back foot's slightly facing in. If you can practice these 6 moves over and over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you can practice those 6 moves, I promise you your Gekisado Ich will be very, very thankful for that. And that's really the main focus on Gekisado Ich here, is making sure that you understand that transition, that change. Let's have a look at Gekisado Ich. So there we go, now we've got Gekisado Ni. Gekisado Ni is going to be very, very similar to Gekisado Ich. There are a couple of moves on here which are different, making sure you remember about this here. We're coming forward and then coming back, okay, with our Kaki Uke. And our last couple of moves with our Mawashi Uke as well. So we finish here, we point our hand to the corner of the room. We step back, we drag that hand back in. Hand comes under to the elbow, around and press. If you're a little bit more confident with this Mawashi Uke, try not to have a big circle, we're trying to refine that to be smaller. So as you come in, these hands make a smaller movement in a circular motion. It's sometimes easier to practice in a bigger circular motion. So really with this kata, that is going to be the main thing you need to focus upon. But let's have a little look at what it looks like all the way through, and we'll see you at the next one. Okay, so the next section we're going to be looking at is our toxic exercise attack and defense. In all honesty, it's very similar to what we've already looked at. The main focusing point is still going to be our feet and the transition that we look at in this kata. Often what we do is we speed this kata up. We race against other people in line. And what I don't want you doing is focusing on speed and losing that good form. So when you're at home, if you are trying to pick this up and challenge someone else in your house, or do a little timer at home, often 15 seconds is a good racing pace. What you want to do is make sure that your feet transition are still happening to the best of your ability. Well, let's have a look at both of those katas, and good luck at home. Okay, so now we've got Teki Shodan. So Teki Shodan, the main thing with this one is going to be keeping in a straight line as you're going up and down throughout these movements and keeping nice and low. A lot of this kata, if you're already learning this one, will be something that you just need to watch and refresh. But what I'm talking about here is as you're sat down in this stance, keeping your back upright, sitting down, pushing your bum out, pushing out the blades of your feet here. As you're transitioning and you're going through, make sure that those feet stay on that line as you're doing that movement. So at home, please try and practice like that. Also, when you're doing this kata and you're getting to the point where you're here, you want to try and maintain the same height. Try not to stand up or sit down too much. You want to use that leg strength to try and push up with it without too much side movement up and down. It's tough, have a go at it, but let's have a look at Teki Shodan. Okay, so Cypher is our next kata, and Cypher is going to be really important to focus on the first three moves. I feel that it's quite often the bit that's overlooked and it's quite sloppy. The other part that would be quite good to look at is the balancing part with the knee. So let's have a look at the first part, making sure we're making a zigzag on the floor as we move forward with this kata. We're stepping up and across, looking forward. Then as you transition back, your hands come across your body and you look forward. Your left hand then comes over in front of the face, your other hand comes through the middle and back fist. Extend that hand all the way out and then bring it back. Then step up through and repeat on the other side. Practice that a couple of times. It is an important part of this kata. The second part is going to be your balancing part, with that knee driving up through. So from this position, hand up, you've just done your rack in here, you step up, feet together, knees bent, top hand is flat, bottom hand is flat. As you transition, you drop slightly, you look to where you're going to be coming from, your knee comes up and your hand changes. You then look forward to kick. You repeat the same thing on the other side before carrying on. Practice that move a few times, making sure that you get used to the knee coming up with some force. If you're not used to it, you're liable to kind of swing or fall over when you try and add some force or pressure into that one. Let's have a look at Cypher as a run through. Okay, so now we're looking at Basadai. Now Basadai is a very simple kata in terms of the moves that you're going to see throughout. 90% of these moves are moves you've already done. Moves that we've done in probably your first 9 months of training. We are looking for you to now have advanced, become better practitioners at these techniques, and looking at other areas of the body to kind of like enhance your karate. So on Basadai, you want to try and keep your feet together at the start here, knee coming up, storming through, and it's those feet at the start making that 90-degree angle. The rest of it from here onwards is going to be your hips, ensuring that your hips are getting the movement that they need in this kata to generate that force. Let's just run through Basadai. Okay, so now we're on to Seanshin, a very beautiful kata. I love this one. So as we focus on the first moves, make sure hands, they come round, they come up, and the whole time we're here, we're breathing, focusing on the breath. Slow it down, often slower is better. The main thing, if you are not doing the kata and you want to practice something here, is going to be looking at your angles. So a good little drill that you could do is find a square or a 2 square area in your house, mark out some areas and have a go at transitioning with your feet at the 45-degree angle. Often this is where higher level karate students will trip up because the hands look great but the feet representing what you're trying to achieve. So from a high Katas position, what we could do is step through at a 45-degree angle, step up, come back to a straight position again, go back at the 45, and come back to where we started from. It's a simple 1 by 1 meter kind of box that you're looking at here, but all you're doing here is you're focusing on getting that 45-degree angle and getting used to how your feet move and transition. If you find yourself going off from those points, reset, start again. Let's have a look at Seanchin. Okay, MP. So MP is all about speed. So when you're going fast in MP, you are giving it everything. And when it's slow, that's when you're getting your recovery, your breath. So at any point in this kata you know it's slow, make sure you slow it down. Allow a deep breath in quite often to get that oxygen back into your body. The key thing with MP that I found with us lot whilst practicing is after that double punch and we go to this Gidan Barai bit, we often get a little bit confused about that sequence of moves. So let's just go through it quickly. I'll try and give myself enough room in here. So we do Gidan Barai, we punch, our hand comes up, we step forward, we do a Koko Statue to okay, step back, transition, we do a punch across the body, step forward, back knee in stance again, back foot across for a Gidan Barai. Forgive my stances there, but you know what we're looking at. Good luck, guys. Let's have a look at MP. Now we're on to our final kata, Sisoshin. With Sisoshin, to be honest with you, it's a very complex kata. I would personally go, right, once run through looking at your legs, making sure those angles are correct. It's not too bad, a lot of it's going to be a Zenkutsu dash, but we're going to make sure that the angles with our body is going to be right. And the second part is then going to be your hand. A key part to this kata, which a lot of people are going to be finding hard, will be this timing element through here. Please make sure you practice it over and over, just get yourself reset. Hands come around together and finish at the same time here. You push through and your hand comes up to that 90-degree angle there. Once you've done it there, go on the other side. So let's have a look at Sisoshin. Good luck. Okay guys, so there you have it. That is it. That is all our katas we're going to look at today. We have got a couple of other combinations and 2 other katas, but these are going to be the main ones that 90% of you are going to be focusing on. I hope they help. If you need any more guidance or support, you all know, just message me. I'll be around to help. Send me your videos, send me what you've been practicing at home. I'd love to hear it and love to see your improvements. Failing that, it's going to be a couple more weeks till we get to see each other again. Keep safe. I've been Sensei Damon. You've been wonderful. Until next time. Bye.